This is the practice. If you remember, my friend Jill was here last video, and we talked about runners for runners. So we decided that what works in, or what runners struggle with, is they need work in the hamstrings, right? In the feet and the ankles for sure, because we did that toe stretch that we'll do again today, and in the lower back. Those are the things that kind of bother runners a lot. It's not just for runners as well. It's for like basketball players. They do a lot of running on the court. Baseball players do so, an athletic build. So we're going to go ahead and do the practice today. So we'll start at the top of our mat, feet about hip width apart, Jill, and we'll pick up the toes, stretch them out, and drop them down. Rolling the shoulders down our sides, we come into a standing Tadasana pose, and we'll just pay attention to our breath here, just breathing inhales and exhales through the nose. You can open the eyes or keep them shut. Just connect to breath, connect to body. If you haven't already, go ahead and engage in your Ujjayi breath. Feeling that sound of the ocean occurring in your head, connecting with breath and body movement. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them up, and we're going to start with some sun salutations to warm up. So we reach the arms up and gaze goes to the thumbs. As we exhale, we fold, coming forward. Either keep the knees bent or straight, gaze to the belly. Inhale to straighten the legs, reaching the chest forward. And as we exhale, plant the hands and send the right leg back and down to the knee. So we'll walk up our front knee and scooch the toes forward a little bit so we can start to work into the groin area. So we're just going to hold here for a few breaths, really pressing the hip forward a little bit. You can be up on the back toes or the foot can be flat, whatever gives you the best balance. Just hold here for a couple of rounds of breath. Now, already for runners, this is going to work into the inner thigh and to the groin area. We're going to work a little bit into the hamstring here in just a second as well. So we'll release that, bringing our arms straight up on the inhale. And as we exhale, bring the fingertips down to the floor. Inhale to keep the knee down, but reach the chest forward. And as you exhale, shift back, bring the toes up and fold over the front of the calf. Now don't go too deep because this is going to be pretty tight in the beginning. Do you feel that in your, yeah. And if you'll notice, her knee is slightly bent. That's a really good cue of a tight hamstring. So we're going to make her feel all kinds of better about her craft today in running. Next inhale, we'll just shift the weight forward as the foot comes down. Plant the hands into the earth and step back into our down dog. And in our down dog, we'll go ahead and pedal out the legs here, just bringing some movement. Feels pretty good. Also softens into the hamstrings as well. Kind of mean of me to make you do that other one first, I guess. So we'll catch it on the other side. How about that? In our next inhale, we're going to come into a static pose and reach the right leg up into the air. As we exhale, let's go ahead and bend and open. Just kind of twisting our chest toward the right a little bit, and just kind of, we're on opposite sides, aren't we? Oh yeah. Oh, little secret, I mirror classes, so she was doing what I told her to do, but my body was doing what I'm used to doing. I got it. And inhale, reach that leg up into the air. As we exhale, bring it between the hands. Sorry, Jill. Square off the hip, reaching the chest forward. Hold here for a couple of rounds of breath, really lifting the chest up. And Jill, from here on out, I'll call the real leg. How about that? I can switch, I promise. No, it's okay. Next inhale, bring that back leg up to the front, coming up into a half lift. Exhale into our fold. And reverse swan dive to reach and raise, coming all the way back up. Exhaling, hands down through heart center. Now for the next one, I'm going to have to call the opposite because otherwise we'll be working on the same leg. But from after that, we'll be working. Inhale, reach those arms up to the sky. Exhale to fold. Inhaling into a half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, send the left leg back or opposite leg back, and drop down to the knee. Walk up that front knee and scoot those toes forward. Inhaling here. And as we exhale, sink in and hold here. Really trying to sink in. Now try to work the inner thighs toward each other. Scissors them in a little bit. We'll feel a little bit more action here. Really breathing and stretching out that front hip. Starting to work into our runner's lunges. Next, inhale. The fingertips come down to the floor. As we exhale, we shift back, coming into this modified half split, folding over as much as allowable. So we'll hold here for a couple of rounds of breath. Next inhale, the foot comes back down, plant the hands and step back into down dog pose. Inhale, reach the left leg up toward the sky. And then exhale, bring it to the front. Squaring off the hips, we inhale to lift. Exhale, back foot joins up and into a half lift on the inhale. Exhale to fold. And reverse swan dive to reach and raise, coming all the way back up. Hands come back into heart center. So we're going to do that same thing, Jill, but we're going to add on just a little bit and work a little quicker. So we'll inhale to reach up toward the sky. We'll exhale to fold. Sliding the hands up. Inhale, reaches the chest. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, send the real right leg back and down to the knee. Walk the hands up the front and scoot those toes a little forward. Exhaling, coming into a nice deep stretch. Inhale, the hands come back down. And as you exhale, shift back, raising the front toes up. Fold over any amount. Inhale to bring that foot back down. And come up on the back toes, but stay in our low lunge. So we'll inhale here, and as we exhale, straighten that front leg and fold into an extended pyramid pose. And let's work this just a little bit. So we'll inhale to bend the knee, bending into that front knee. Exhale to shift back. 2 more. Inhale to bend and reach the chest forward. Exhale back. 1 more. Inhale, reaches and bends. Exhale back. This time we'll hold in this exhale and just go down as far as you're able to. So for some people, they're going to be bendy and they're going to fold all the way over. Others with tighter hamstrings, of course, this is for runners, you can stay up a little bit higher. It's an extended pyramid pose and it works pretty well into that hamstring muscle. Hold and breathe, Ujjayi. Next, inhale, bend that front knee, planting the hands. And as you step back, go back into your down dog pose. Now we'll work a vinyasa between this. So next inhale, we'll come through plank pose. And we'll exhale through our chaturanga dandasana, up into cobra or up dog. And exhaling back to our down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hold here for 3 rounds of breath, gaze to the belly. Next inhale, raise the right leg up into the air on the inhale. And as we exhale, bend the knee and bring the foot between the hands. From there, we're going to take that back leg, bring it to flight, walk the fingers up in front of our mats. So that left leg is flying up high toward the sky. Try to level out the hips here, keeping the hips nice and square by not putting all the weight into the left standing leg. And we should feel it in that IT band here pretty good. Hold here and breathe, a couple of rounds of breath. Next, inhale, drop that foot, hip width apart from the other one. Bring the fingertips back slightly in front of the feet. Rise up on the toes and squat the hips down. So we're in a toe squat here, stretching out our toes. Nice stretch for the Achilles heel, for the arch of the foot. We'll hold here for a couple of rounds of breath. Pull the belly in tightly. Breathe. And next inhale, just send the hips up and the feet down. Exhale, fold in. Come up into a half lift on the inhale. Exhale to fold in again. And reverse swan dive to reach and raise, coming all the way up, hands touch. Exhale, hands come down into heart center. So we'll do the other side. Inhale to reach and raise. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands in the left leg, back and down to the knee. Walk the hands up, scooching the front foot forward on the inhale. Exhale, squeeze and dip in. Beautiful job. Inhale to release, bring the fingertips down. And exhale, send that leg back and fold. Inhale, foot comes back down. We come in through that low lunge. And this time as we exhale, we straighten that front leg, folding over into our extended pyramid pose. And we'll work that a little bit. So we'll inhale to come through the lunge, bending the knee. Exhale, straightening, folding. Inhale to bend. Exhale, straighten. Last one. Inhale, bends. Exhale, straighten and hold here just for a breath or two, bending as much as you'd like over the front leg. Next, inhale, we'll bend that knee, plant the hands, and as we step back on the exhale, we come into our down dog pose. We'll work that vinyasa on this side too, Jill, okay? So we're inhaling into our plank. Exhale through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, down dog pose. Hold here for just a couple of rounds of breath. Settling in. Next, inhale, left leg rises. And as we exhale, bring that foot between the hands. We're in our nice runner's lunge. And walk the fingertips out in front. Bring that back leg to flight up about hip height. Try to balance out the hips here so our natural inclination is to lean everything over into that standing leg. Try to balance it out. Makes it a little bit harder, which makes it more fun for me. I don't know about anybody else. Hold here and breathe a couple of rounds of breath. We'll inhale here. And as we exhale, just drop that foot down and fold in. Bring the fingertips back a little bit. Inhale to bend the knees, coming high up on the toes. Back into that nice, good toe squat. Hold here for a couple of rounds of breath. Next, inhale, we lift the hips, drop the heels, and fold. Inhale, half lift up. Exhale to fold again. And reverse swan dive on the inhale, coming all the way back up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Release into our mountain pose. So we're going to go through 2 rounds of Sensation B, which adds the chair in, and the warrior 1. I want to do that because, first of all, she's a runner, and she needs really good, strong, powerful leg muscles for that. So that'll help her craft. Also, in the warrior 1 postures, if we're squaring off the hips, we're going to work into that hamstring. And so we're just going to do a strengthening and releasing at the same time. So for this one, we'll bring our big toes together, make that sure that little pie wedge is in the back. Reach the arms up on the inhale. And as we exhale, we'll bend the knees, let the fingertips come down to the floor. Keep the squat, and inhale, reach the arms up by the ears. As we exhale, we straighten our legs, coming into a forward fold. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, and we step back, go through our vinyasa. So we can always do knees, chest, and chin here if we don't feel good with our chaturanga, and cobra instead of up dog. We'll all meet in our down dog pose. Right leg rises on the inhale. And as we exhale, step that foot between the hands. The back heel turns in about a quarter. Before we rise up, I want you to pay attention to your hips. Really square off the hips at the bottom pose. Pull the belly in deeply. And then we can rise up into our Virabhadrasana 1 pose. Really reaching. So we promised a little bit of hamstring work here. So we'll work this in from this pose. Inhaling here. As we exhale, we're going to straighten that front leg and reach the arms behind us into an extended standing monkey pose. Bend the knee, coming up on the inhale. And exhale, back and down. You feel that in the hamstring, I guess. All right, 2 more. Inhale to reach and raise. And exhale, straighten and fold. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, straighten and fold. We're going to hold it at the bottom and interlace the fingers behind us. Pull the knuckles away and the chest forward. We'll just hold here in this half position. So we're just really sucking in that belly nice and deep, feeling it all through the back of that front leg. Next inhale, release our fingers, come to the floor, plant the hands, and step back into our down dog pose. Go through a vinyasa in the middle. So we inhale coming through, exhale, vinyasa of our choice. We'll meet in our down dog. And all that fun stuff on the other side. So we inhale to reach the left leg up on the inhale. As we exhale, we bring that foot between the hands. Back foot turns in a quarter. And remember, we're going to set up at the bottom. So we're going to square off the hips here before we rise. Pull the belly in when we're ready. Reach and rise all the way up to the top. Hold here and breathe a couple of rounds of breath. And next inhale, we'll straighten the front leg. Exhale, come through that monkey pose. Pull the belly in. You want to strengthen the back at the same time. Inhale to bend and reach. Exhale to straighten and fold. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. The bottom here, we'll interlace the fingers behind, reaching the chest forward. The knuckles pull away, square off the hips. Hold here and breathe. Now, next inhale, release those fingertips to the floor. Plant the hands, step back into our down dog pose. And let's go through that vinyasa. So inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. We'll hold for 3 to 5 breaths now in this down dog pose. The bottom of this exhale, our gaze goes forward. We'll make our way to the front of the mat with the big toes touching. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend those knees and reach the arms up on the inhale. And let's hold it here for just a few rounds of breath before we finish out. Breathe into the sticky stuff. Look down at your knees. Make sure one's not shifted in front of another. Hold and breathe. And inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, hands down through heart center into our mountain pose. Oh, we're doing so good, Jill. Pretty sure anyway. So let's continue to work into our hips by stepping our feet about mat width apart. Come into a nice squat. So some of you are going to be up here. Some are going to be here. And if we have the ability, we'll come all the way down into Malasana. Yeah, if you never had. Bring those shoulders on the inside and really work the arms in. Once we get them in there, pull them out and sit up straight the best that we can. Now, this does all kinds of stuff. First of all, works our shoulders. We're having to push our legs apart. Work it into the hips. Working into our heels and feet. Now I will say this for those of you at home or practicing at home, not everybody's heels hit the ground there. I've seen numerous times, haven't you, Jill, in class where people's heels are up. So it just depends on your physicality. Don't worry about it. They don't have to be down. Hold here just for a couple of rounds of breath. And now let's release. It's a short trip. Put our bums down. Extend our legs out in front of us. We're not done with our standing postures yet, but we'll work a little bit in between. So we'll get the butt flesh out of the way. Everybody's got butt flesh, so just pick it up and move it. Reach those arms up on the inhale. And as we exhale, I want to lift up first, keeping the spine straight, reaching out and over on the exhale. So maybe you come past your feet. Maybe you just grab onto your calves. Whatever you've got, hang on. Come into a nice forward fold. Releases any tension that we might have in our back from what we've done so far. Feet are flexed. Hold and breathe. From this pose, we're going to release whatever we're holding on to. Let the hands come down by the sides. And now come up about halfway. And we're going to start to just pedal out the feet here, not the legs, but the feet. So we'll point the left foot, flexing the right, and then just switch sides. So we're just working in to a little tiny bit of muscles around the hamstrings and around the IT band. It's kind of like pushing in the gas and pushing on the brake, only seriously, you don't do that with two different feet. When you're in your car. All right, all of you getting ready to get your driver's licenses, don't do that. We're just really working into little tiny muscles and fibers all the way around. Next time we come back into center, we sit up nice and tall. And as we exhale, we're going to take that right leg, bring it right on top of the left. From here, start to walk out, keep the spine very straight and walk out the hands, keeping a straight spine as far as you are able to without it being painful. I don't want pain here. Challenge is great, pain not so good. So we just soften in. It's really isolating. A couple of IT bands here as well as into that hamstring. Hold and breathe. And now come up. Go ahead and grab onto your big toe with your first two fingers and your thumb. Sitting up straight, bring that leg with you and bend the knee in toward the armpit. So we want to get our spine straight. We're not slumped over. We're sitting up very tall. Kind of think about this like a gun, like you'd cock a gun back. Just kind of really cock that knee back toward the armpit, but sit up very tall and straight. A little bit more difficult when we have the straight back part. Hold here and breathe. Just a couple of breaths. And maybe we can start to open and shut the hip just to be able to hinge into the hip a little bit. From this position, release and straighten that leg coming up into a seated position just to kind of work as straight as what we can. So of course, tight hamstrings, the leg may not go straight. That's okay. We'll feel a lot in that top hip area, into that top joint. And so go ahead and start to open and shut the leg here as well. Doing your best to keep your spine straight. We'll come back into center and let that foot come down. So we'll do that on the other side, not the pedaling, but we'll go ahead and place the left on top of the right. Sit up tall and straight, lifting the chest, and as you exhale, just kind of fold and start walking forward. Just do it a little bit at a time because you don't know how far you want to go till you feel that point of, yeah, I ain't going no farther. So we just hold here and breathe a few rounds of breath. Pretty intense for me it is. Probably is for you too, Jill. Yeah. Hold and breathe. Try to breathe into those places that are really tight. You can do that with your mind. You can send that nice, cool, or warm, depending on what you like, breath into those tight areas in our minds. Grab onto your big toe on this side. Come to sit up and bring that knee in toward the armpit. Reestablish the straightness of the spine. Get tall here. And when you're ready, you can just start to open and shut that hip with that bent knee. So if we're on our backs, Jill, this would be like a happy baby posture. So it's just a seated happy baby. So we'll come back in center and straighten that leg to the best of our ability, reestablishing that straight spine. And then we can just start to open and shut that leg as well. I always like to think of these as like, I always think of the Wizard of Oz with a Tin Man, you know. I always wish we could kind of figure out some way to, to oil up our joints here a little bit. And we'll come back into center and we will release that down to the floor. So we're going to send our legs over to one side or the other and come up into a tabletop pose. Down into our forearms. And we'll extend the right leg up behind us, up to hip height. Inhaling here. As we exhale, drop the toes to the floor and shift the weight back towards stretching out calves. Inhale to come forward and raise that leg back up to hip height. And as we exhale, bring that foot out toward the right, sole the foot to the floor, and just hold here for a couple of rounds of breath. So this will stretch out inner thigh, outer hip, on our forearms here, so we're pretty low to the ground, softening in. Now, from this pose, I want you to gaze toward the front left corner of your mat and walk your hands out on the outside of the front corner of the left. Use the heels of the palms to really press in. So we're working in shoulder, inner thigh, outer hip, all at the same time. Walk those hands back into center. This time bring the hands onto your mat so they're up underneath the shoulders. You're still in that same posture with the leg out. And now from here, inhale to lift that leg up and behind you. Reach the opposite arm out, inhaling to reach and extend. Exhale, knee and elbow meet. 3 more rounds. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last round. Inhale. Exhale, but hold here in the crunch for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, knee down. Come back down onto the forearms. Next, inhale, reach that opposite leg up behind us, squaring off the hips and dropping the foot down. Exhaling, pushing the heel back, stretching out that calf. Inhale to come up into that hip height again. And as we exhale, we drop that foot out toward the left. Sole of the foot connects to the floor. And we just hold here and breathe for a few rounds of breath. Gaze goes toward the right corner. Walk your hands outside of your mat. Use the heels of the palms to press in, stretching out the shoulder all the way around. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Hold here for a couple of rounds of breath, and this beautiful little hip stretcher here. Pulling that belly in. And inhale, that leg comes behind and the opposite arm reaches out. Reach on the inhale and exhale, knee and elbow meet. 3 more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Hold in for that count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And drop the knee and the hand down. Flatten out the tops of the feet. And come to sit back into our hero's pose. Here comes that fun toe stretch that we have in our conversations. So from our hero's pose, we're going to reach our hands behind us. I'm sorry, excuse me, about led us the wrong way. About went to the Lolasana here. So hands behind us, fingertips facing, and now lift the knees up, stretching out the fronts of the feet. That is so hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been doing it since.
You have?
Yes.
You've been cheating since the last time
Yeah,
we've
I've been practicing.
It's good, though. It's really good.
It kind of feels good
It
now.
does. It kind of hurts so good
Yeah.
situation. Yep, really lifting and reaching here. Stretches out the Achilles. It stretches out. For people with plantar fasciitis, this is great. So we'll inhale to come back up. And just exhale to hold here for a breath. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to I like to turn the hands away sometimes because we get extra stretch for the inner arms. So we're going to do that same stretch again, but this time as we bring our hands behind, we don't have our fingertips facing toward the hips. We have them facing away. So you can be up on the fingertips here. Pull the belly in and lift up so we can get a little bit of a stretch here. So if your arms are straight, you'll feel it more. If they're bent, you'll feel it less. Just really lift here. Ha, ha, ha. Things we do. Oh, yeah. Lift, lift, lift. Now, while we're in this pose, we'll go ahead and come back down, and we'll go into a modified Lolasana to work into the belly. So bring the hands slightly in front of the knees. This time we're going to lift the knees up again, but we'll be on the tops of the back of the feet. Does that make sense? The full one, they'd be off, and we're not going to make anybody out there do that. So pull that belly in. Now lift the knees up toward the chest, round the shoulders up. This is great for working into our core. While we're here, we might as well test the waters. Maybe raise up one foot. Drop that down, maybe raise up the other foot. So we're stretching out our feet and into our belly. Really lift, 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 lift. And exhale down. Isn't that fun? No. Walk the hands out to the front. Come up into a down dog because we're going to counter stretch the feet. Go ahead and pedal out the legs here a little bit. That counter stretches all that in the feet that we just tortured it with. And our bellies should feel pretty good stretch in the belly as well. Yeah. So from this down dog pose, we'll inhale to reach the right leg up into the air. And as we exhale, bring that foot between the hands. Open up the back foot and rise up through our warrior two pose. Get our setup. Make sure we're nice and right. Make sure you can see that toe and the knees not rolled in, but it rolled out. The feet are pressing away from each other. Arms are strong and powerful. Belly's pulled in. Hands are kind of soft, and the gaze is soft as well. So we're going to back into that thigh work a little bit. So we'll straighten the leg on the inhale, and we'll exhale to bend back in. 3 more. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, hold here. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale to lift the chest up, pull that belly in. As we exhale, we diagonally fold in front into our humble warrior. Really feeling the emphasis on that bent front leg. Into the hip. A few rounds of breath. Now for the core challenge, pull your belly in. We're going to rise right back up from where we came from. Reach those arms out into our nice warrior two. Straighten the front leg, drop the back hand, come into a beautiful, peaceful warrior with the front leg straight. Inhale the arms into a T. As we exhale, we shift and reach over. The hand can come anywhere on the leg, or you can bring it on the outside or the inside of the foot. We twist open into our Trikonasana pose, our triangle pose. Just for the belly challenge, Jill, we're going to circle that arm down and around and toward the front like we do in a side angle. Beautiful. Now open up that chest again, really reaching. Breathe. And we're still working into those hamstrings, I tell you. Shoulders. Inhale to look down, top hand comes down, spin up on the back toes, keep that front leg straight. Fold over into our extended pyramid. Then we're going to rock a little bit. So we'll inhale to bend the front knee into the lunge, just like we did earlier. Exhale, back, and fold. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, hold and fold, and maybe bring both hands to the inside. Walk them away from you a little bit, keeping up on the fingertips if that feels better, and push back in. Should be pretty intense for the whole front leg. Next, inhale, frame that front foot, bend the knee, and as you step back, go through a plank and a vinyasa. We'll meet in down dog. And do all of that on the other side. From this pose, we reach the left leg up, on the inhale. Exhale, bring it through. Spin the back foot open and come up through warrior two, setting up for our posture. Gaze is soft, fingers are reaching. Breathe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now inhale to bend. Interlace the fingers behind the back, lifting the chest, and exhale, fold over into our humble fold. Breathe. Keep that nice, beautiful legs, and reverse our steps by coming up from our pose, inhaling here. And as we exhale, we'll straighten the front leg, drop the back hand, reach up. Hold here for a couple of rounds in our peaceful warrior breath. Next, inhale, bring the arms out into a T. As we exhale, reach out and over anywhere down the front leg or inside or outside of the standing leg, and open up the chest to the sky into our triangle or trikonasana pose. Open up that chest. Next, inhale, circle that down and around toward the front and open up, adding in that stomach challenge. Top hand comes down, bend that front knee to spin up on the back toes. We're in the lunge. Now straighten that front leg into our extended pyramid and fold over. So we'll start working that. Inhale to bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale. Exhale. What is it? One more, I think. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to hold it here. You can fold over as much as you'd like. And you can hang here, or we can walk our hands over toward the left a little bit, keeping up on the fingertips and folding in. Next inhale, we'll bend that front knee, framing the front foot. Step back and go through your chaturanga on exhale. Lifting up and exhaling back. Hold here for a couple of rounds of breath. Gaze goes forward, come down to the knees, and transfer onto our bums. I feel pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, great.
Extend those legs out in front. Get the butt flesh out of the way again. We have to do it every time because it creeps right on back in there. I don't care how thin you are or not thin you are. Butt flesh gets in the way. So feel where we feel our sits bones. Bring the right leg in, sole of foot to the floor, holding on the front of shin. Oh, pose of nobility. Really nice little stretch here. We're going to take our right shoulder, work it on the inside. So the shoulders on the inside, reaching that arm forward. Now reach the chest forward a little bit more so the arm extends as much as you can, and flip the palm. Reach that arm around. Now, some people get stuck here, and that's okay. Just hang here. If you hang here, just reach the other arm around. But if you're able to, bend the elbow, interlacing the fingers, turn the chest, and sit up as tall as you're able to. There we go. Beautiful. She's doing a beautiful job there. Really stretching out the shoulders, the chest, working into the legs, and we breathe. Release our bind. Back into that pose of nobility on the inhale. And as we exhale, let the sole of the foot open up to the inner thigh of the straight leg. Turn the chest toward the straight leg. Reach the arms up into the air in our Janu posture. As we exhale, we lift up and fold over any amount that works for us. Dropping the head toward the forehead. Toward the head, toward the forehead. Don't listen to me. Head toward the shin. Oh my God. Breathe. Now, take that left hand, place it on the inside of the front sole of the foot. Take the right hand to the inner thigh of the right leg and come and sit up just as straight as you can manage on the inhale. As we exhale, we're going to twist open just a little bit. Gaze goes up and behind us, and we breathe. Release, coming back in. Take this right leg, step it on the outside of the left leg. Come into a pose of nobility, inhaling. And as we exhale, we'll wrap the left elbow around the right arm behind. Lift again on the inhale, and as we exhale, we twist. Twists in yoga start with the belly, move up through the rib cage, chest, and then the shoulder and head turn. Hold and breathe a couple of rounds of breath. Next inhale, we come forward, little counter twist, just kind of pop way to the other side. Inhaling back into center, stack this top knee on top of the bottom one, relax the bottom leg. So we're going to come into this, it's a cow face posture, but it's modified. So we're just going to round everything over. Ooh, we'll feel it in the hips and that bottom hamstring. It gets its last juicy stretch here before we start to end the class. Hold and breathe, breathe, breathe. Roll ourselves up on the inhale and exhale to set the other leg back. So we're going to do all that on the other side. You might have to help me remember some of that, but I think I got it. Bend that knee, coming up into pose of nobility, sitting up nice and tall. Inhaling here. As we exhale, we're going to work our shoulder onto the inside of that. So we come in pretty deeply, chest comes toward that front leg, reach that arm out and just bend it. So if this is all we have and we have to kind of do it that way, that's fine. But if you can, clasp on to the hands, come to sit up nice and tall here, and we can twist a little bit, but the twist is going to come naturally. We don't have to. Just hold here and breathe a few rounds of breath. Release, coming back into center. And what do we do next? Oh yeah, we open up into our Janu. See? I warned her ahead of time. Soul comes into the foot, into the inner thigh, and we reach the arms up on the inhale. As we exhale, we lift and fold, coming into our forward fold here. Breathing in. I'm going to check my pack, actually, because I felt myself hit it a while ago. Yep, it's still on. Sorry for those of you listening at home. Better that than not listen at home with no mic on. Inhale to come up. And as we exhale, we bring that foot to the outside of the front leg. Pose of nobility again. The chest reaches, inhaling. As we exhale, left arm comes around, right arm goes behind. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, twists. Hold here for a couple of rounds of breath. And inhaling back into center. We exhale, bringing that knee on top of the other. Relax that bottom leg. Lifting up the chest, inhaling. As we exhale, we're just going to fold over. You can round the spine. We're working into that bottom hamstring and working into the top outer hip. So we got a couple things going on. The weight of the torso leaning forward is really nice and smooth for stretching out the shoulders. A couple more rounds of breath here. Inhale to come up. Oh, forgot that little counter twist. So we'll just do it from this pose. Just counter a little bit the other way. This is so much fun. Yep, I got it. Unbind our legs. Scoot our bums forward. Hold on to one shin or the other and roll back onto your back. Bring the knees in and just rock a little from side to side. And from here, place the soles of the feet on the floor, pretty close to the bum line. Arms are going to reach down by the sides and pressing in. We'll inhale to lift the hips up and roll the shoulders underneath the back. So we're in a bridge pose here. If we're able to clasp our fingers, do that. If you're not able to, just roll the shoulders as deeply as you're able. About here, we lose the hips, so we have to push the feet into the floor again, reaching the hips up to the sky. Really getting a nice deep chest stretch, and also for the lower back. This is our bridge pose, pretty much a full bridge. Next inhale, reach that right leg up into the air, keeping our bridge. And as we exhale, cross that ankle over the opposite thigh, and just open up that knee. About that time, we lose the hips, so push back into the floor, back into the floorboards with our arms and our foot, reaching our chest up. Inhale to reach that leg up. Exhale down. Other side. Left leg reaches up on the inhale. Exhale, ankle crosses over. Push into the floor with arms and foot. Lifting the chest up on the inhale. Exhale, holds. Inhale, reaching that leg up. Exhale, bring it back down. Reset your bridge pose by pushing the feet in, lifting the hips up. Oh, jelly bean. We're going to take and lower, keep the arms where they are. We're going to lower our bums to lay on top of those arms. Oh, that feels pretty good, really. So we can stay here. If you really want to up the game, you can straighten the legs out. So we're laying completely on our arms. If this hurts you at home, don't do it. Just find another modification for it. Take your hands out or unclasp them. This is a great stretch for the arms, shoulders, for the legs. Breathe. And we'll go ahead and bend those knees again, lifting up our hips. Get those arms out from underneath us. Put the knees together, but walk the feet mat width apart. And then cross the arms, elbows, where the elbows are together, and your hands are kind of resting against your shoulders. Just a nice, good little stretch here for the shoulders. Keep the knees where they are, and then just opposite cross the elbows. To make sure, because it's always different one side to the other. Always feels different. Breathe. Keep those arms where they are and bring the soles of the feet together and recline Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Believe it or not, we're going to do a few crunches from here. So with our feet in butterfly, arms wrapped around us, we'll inhale to reach our chest up, crunching in, and then come back down. Just a few of these. Inhale, pull the belly in, crunching up. So it stretches out the shoulders too. So it's kind of a double whammy. Exhaling back down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Inhale. Exhale. Release those arms. Bring them overhead and just let them soften. Just bend the elbows a little bit. Very, very modified goddess arms pose. Soles of the feet are connected together. We're breathing. We'll start to return to natural breath here as we get ready to close out the practice. Just notice how the body feels. You can keep the feet together here. If it feels more comfortable, you can let the legs straighten out on the mat a little bit. Holding here and breathing. When you're ready, just let the hands come down by your sides to our final relaxation posture, Shavasana. It'll be a short Shavasana. So we'll just hold here for about 10 to 15 breaths, natural breaths. Go ahead and wiggle fingers and toes a little bit. Maybe a full body stretch feels good. Always does for me, but I don't know. Maybe bring the knees into the chest, squeezing the shins in. And cross the ankles. And either roll to one side or just roll yourself up into an easy seated position at the front of our mat. Get our spines tall. Just let the arms rest straight. Bring the thumb and the index finger together. Straightening out the fingers into a mudra. Get the spine tall and dip the chin in toward the chest. Hold here for a few rounds of breath. Just maybe giving gratitude for your body, for the practice, for Jill. I know I am. Releasing. Bringing the hands into Ujjayi Mudra under prayer posture. Thumbs will rest lightly against the chest. We dip the chin in toward the chest. Thumbs will touch forehead. We ask peace. Thumbs touch lips. We ask for peace. Thumbs touch heart center. We ask for peace. So I bow to you, Jill, and to them, and they will bow to us. And together we will say Namaste.